Rivian had recalled 200 vehicles stating a seatbelt issue, but the stock price went up regardless, increasing investors' trust in the company and its ability to handle such shortcomings. So is the Rivian stock a buy? Today we go through recent news and a chart analysis to answer this question, but before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. First up, let's talk about the production. 4,400 vehicles were made in Q2 as compared to 2,550 vehicles in the Q1, which is kind of disappointing if we look at the 25,000 vehicle goal they set for 2022, which is about 50% lower than the original 50,000 vehicles estimate. Despite this, major investors like George Soros and Ray Dalio continue to stand by the stock, mainly because once the production issues get sorted out, Rivian might very well become one of the top 5 EV companies in the world by 2030. On the other hand, Rivian doesn't expect any profits for at least a few years as they aim at using all their revenue for hiring and increasing production capacity. This isn't too bad if compared to competitors like MULN where investors are literally giving up on the stock. Personally, we believe that Rivian, NIO and Tesla might be the top 3 EV giants of the United States of America. Now to analyze the stock further, let's jump straight into the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-day chart for Rivian. First, we'll analyze the 1-day chart as always, and then we'll move on to the 1-hour chart and the 5-minute chart to end it off. First things first, as you guys can see, the pre-market currently is at $33.47. We did end the day in a bearish scenario yesterday. As you guys can see, it was a volatile day because the wicks are pretty big, but we started the day off at $33.28 and we ended it at $33.25, which was, I would say, a good day for intraday traders, but a pretty bad or rather sluggish day for the long-term traders or rather the positional traders. So before we begin the analysis, I want to show you guys one quick thing. As you guys can see, this level at, let me mark this real quick. This level around $33 was a resistance over here, right? It acted as a resistance here and here as well and here as well. But now as you guys can see, it is our pivot and we are pivoting from this level. Now, I personally believe that this would be a bullish trend signal because I believe that once we test this as a support now, as you guys can see, we are at the $33.47 mark on the pre-market. If we test this level as a support today, then we might or might not, well, I personally believe that we might go up over here from this support level, right? It would give us a small bounce. If we observe the situation carefully over here, we can see that we were making, higher highs and higher lows, and again higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And as you guys can see, we are now back at this pivot range over here at $33. I personally believe that as long as we don't break the $30 zone over here, right, the $30 level would act as a pretty strong psychological support. We should be pretty good as long as we don't break that level. Coupled with the news, as you guys already know, that big investors like George Soros and Ray Dalio are standing strong by the stock, and that is a signal that something is bound to come by. I personally, as I already told you guys in the previous part of this video, that I believe that Rivian will be one of the biggest EV companies in at least America by 2030. So that does signal that Rivian might be ready to hit the $40 mark by the end of this year, or rather in a few months at least, if things go well, right? If the production problems get sorted out, I believe that Rivian can hit $40 by the end of this year. Now let's talk about two more scenarios. One is bullish and one is bearish. Let's say that, we break the support over here and we go all the way down to the $30 level. It would look somewhat like this. We would break this, right? We would probably break this level, go over here, hover over here, and if we break this level, it would be pretty bad for the stock. But I personally don't believe that this would happen, right? I believe that, as I already told you guys, we will test this level as a support and then we will go up. I personally believe that we will hover in this range of, $35, $36 for some time before we move up to the $40 mark, right? It can be a straight slide or rather a straight jump or a straight bounce to the $40 mark. If we look over here in the past, like in August or July, we can clearly see that Rivian does have the power to strike off a bullish trend. But I personally do not believe that such a strong bullish trend would be, duplicated anytime soon as long as we don't fix up the supply chain problems. But in case that we do fix up the supply chain problems, I already told you guys, even a $40 price target would be pretty small for that, right? Once Rivian is all fixed up, it's bound to be a $50 stock. And if that happens by the end of this year, that would probably be one of the greatest news for the investors. Now that we're done with the long-term target, let's quickly get into the 1 hour chart. As you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1 hour chart for Rivian. The first candle was what contributed all of that volatility to the 7th September chart that we just saw in the 1-day chart. Now, as you guys can see, we did start off the day around this $33.2 level, but we went all the way up until $34.45 and all the way down to about this level of $33.7. And then we obviously closed this candle at $33 somewhere around that, right? After that, it was pretty sluggish, right? After that, as you guys can see, 2 bearish candles, 3 green candles. These green candles were obviously bullish. And as you guys can see, after the stock climbed up, the sellers did make a strong comeback. And after the stock went down over here, the buyers thought that, hey, it's at a good price. Let's quickly scoop up some stock. And the pre-market shot up to the $33.47 level. I personally believe that today is going to be bearish for the Rivian stock. And if you ask me why I believe that, as you guys can see, the pre-market is in a gap up. And every time that the market is in a gap up, you guys already know that we do fall down sometimes, right? At least most of the times we do fall down. But I personally, as I already told you guys, believe that we will get supported by this level of $33 again. And even if we fall down, we might have a low volume session today. And if that happens, we'll probably hover around this range. And after that, we might, break this or, break this level over here at $33.5, right? This was where we got rejected, $33.5. If we break these levels, then we might probably go up again. And once the stock starts going up, we'll probably see more investors hopping on, and the $35 level at least will be pretty possible for, like, I guess 2 or 3 days, I would say, right? That would be a good target for the $35 level. Once we get into the $35 range, we'll probably see the stock heading towards the $40 range, but it will get rejected in between over here around the $37 mark once before it can, retest that resistance and go above it. But as I already told you guys, as long as the supply chain issues don't get fixed, we probably won't be able to see any progress on the charts either. And with that being said, let's quickly jump into the 5-minute chart to analyze the stock further. Now, as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 5-minute chart, and 7th September was rather an interesting day. As you guys can see, we did start off the day in somewhat of a gap down, like a few points, I'd say a few cents, and then we went up to this range of like $33.4, $34.4, and then as you guys can see, we came down over here, came all the way down, and as you guys can see, we did maintain this range. This level acted as a support. Let me mark this real quick. This level of $32.7 acted as support 3 times, once over here, over here, over here, and over here as well. And I personally believe these levels might stay intact today as well, so make sure you watch out for these. There was some sharp buying over here when the market started, and then there was the same amount of sharp selling, so I'm assuming that there were some big whales trading around here. But after that, as you guys can see, the volatility faded away and the real market scenario, started to appear, and it was pretty bullish. And then it took a pullback over here after hitting the $33.5 range. Now, I believe that today, as I already told you guys, we're in a gap up, so we might, try to copy or rather duplicate this particular day. We might go up, right? We'll probably come down after that because, as you guys already know, pullbacks, that's how they work. But again, I'm pretty sure that the stock will hit this support once it will retest this support, and then we'll shoot on towards the $35 level again. Now, if you were to ask me my possibilities or rather probabilities of what I believe will happen, I'm pretty much bullish on the stock, like a 75% bullish, I would say, right? This is a pretty good price range to buy the stock. As I already told you guys, that I believe it will head to the $50 range once the issues are sorted. And once that is done, that's a pretty good profit, like a 30 or 40% profit. But then again, it's not financial advice, it's just my own opinion. Make sure that you do your own research before you trade, as trading involves risk. If you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. Subscribe to our channel Stox 101, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one. ठीक है?